Hello people, welcome one and all to Jojo's Learning Club.
So hello guys, I'm back again with another video on simple equations, and this video I'll be doing the continuation of my part 1. So if you have not watched my video on simple equations, please do watch it before watching this video, then it would be helpful, then you can get a better understanding too. So let's directly start with the problems. So on the first problem, I'm going to solve from the previous episode. So the first problem was 4 minus 3p is equal to 2p minus 11. So remember what I said in my previous video, that when you have unknown quantities and integer constants, try to group the integer constants on one side and also the variables on the other side. So I'm going to group the variables on this side, that is the LHS, and the constants on the RHS of the equation, right? So also I said one more thing, that when you move a quantity, that is a variable or an integer constant, from one side of equation to the other side, or from this side to to this side, then a change of sign is required. For example, so I'm going to place here variable, so it is here itself, and I'm going to move this from this side of the equation to this side. So what happens? So it is plus 2p, and when it comes to the other side, it becomes minus 2p. Okay. And now similarly, minus 11 was already here, and I'm going to move this plus 4 to the other side. So what it happens? It becomes minus 4. So minus 5p is equal to minus 15. So, and to find the value of unknown, what you have to do? You have to divide this by minus 5. So I'm going to divide this by minus 5. So what happens? Minus minus gets cancelled, and 5 and 5 get cancelled. So it becomes p, and here minus minus gets cancelled, and by cancelling we know that 15 is divisible by 3 times by 5, and so p, the value of p is 3. So it's very much easy, right? And now let's do the problem number B. So here 3 into x minus 2 is equal to 9. So we know that there are some brackets here. So remember the algebraic law, what it was? A into b plus c is equal to ab plus ac. Similarly, when there is a bracket, also remember the Bode-Mass rule, and whenever there is a bracket, you have to first solve inside the brackets, and if there is no brackets, then into division, then into multiplication, then into addition, and then into subtraction. So similarly, I'm going to now solve the brackets. So it becomes 3x minus 6 is equal to 9. And remember what I said? Now you don't have to do either. The first method was to add plus 6 in both sides and remove this integer variable from remove this integer constant with the variable, or you can just simply use the change of sign and just 3x is over here and move this constant to the other side, so it becomes 9 plus 6, and you can write 3x is equal to 15. So each time, as I said, you don't have to divide and do all the steps. You can directly write x is equal to 15 by 3 and value of x is 5. So that's it. It's very easy to solve simple equations. So now we have solved our both the equations, and now we are going to the problem number C. So let's do the problem number C. C problem is 4 into 2y minus 3 minus 2 into y minus 4 is equal to 3 into y minus 3. It's a big equation, right? So whenever you have brackets, try to solve all the brackets and then group together all the variables and the integer constants. So now I'm going to open all these brackets. So 4 into 2y is 8y, 4 into minus 3 is minus 12, and here minus 2y, minus into minus becomes plus, and minus 2 into 4 is plus 8. Here 3y minus 9 and minus 1. So what it is over here? Minus 10. So 3y minus 10. And what is over here? 8y minus 2y is 6y. 6y minus 12 plus 8 is minus 4. So now try to make all the variables on one side and the integer constants on the other side. So 6y minus 3y is equal to minus 10. And when minus 4 go to the other side, it becomes plus. So it becomes 6y minus 3y is 3y, and minus 10 plus minus 4, minus 10 plus 4 is minus 6, and so y is equal to minus 6 by 3, which is nothing but minus 2. So that's it. And now let's do our problem number D. So problem number D is somewhat different from what we have dealt till now, right? So 3 by x is equal to 4 by 5. So there is an easy method of doing cross multiplying and just find the answer. But in general, how you do is that you know that in both these cases of the equation, you have 5 and x. So you have to take the LCM of 5 and x. What is the LCM of 5 and x? 5x. So what you do is you multiply both the LHS of the equation and RHS of the equation with 5x. So you remove these division terms. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here, it gets cancelled. So it becomes 4x on this RHS of the equation, and what happens here? It becomes 15, and from this now we can, so, and one more thing I have to say, the same we can write it as 4x equal to 15. Doesn't make any change, right? Why? When you move minus 4x, it becomes minus 4x, and when you move this to the other side, it becomes minus 15, and minus cancels, and you can simply write it as 4x equal to 15. So I'm just making the variable to the LHS side for my convenience. So it is up to you. So you can write any way you like. So 4x is equal to 15, and to find x is equal to 15 by 4. So you don't have to do all these long steps, but I generally, not to make any mistakes, I just showed you. But now I'm going to show it in a very easier manner. So 3 by x is equal to 4 by 5. So you have an equation like this. So to find the value of x, the easiest way is that just do the cross multiplication. So I'm going to cross multiply it, to here, this side, and to this side. Okay, so 3 into 15 is equal to 4x. So x is equal to 15 by 4. So you don't have to do all these steps, but I just wanted to show you how this is happening. So you can simply find out, and you can, by cross multiplication, you can find the final answer. So that's all about problem number D. And now let's go and directly do the problem number E. So problem number E is somewhat similar to the problem number D, right? So I don't have a space, so now I have to rub my board. So now let's directly start with our problem number E. In problem number D, what we did, we can do cross multiply and find, or either way you can do is that you can just take the LCM of both the denominators and multiply in the LHS and RHS and find your value of unknown. Or in the similar way, I'm just going to do with the cross multiply and find the final answer here. So 3 by x minus 2 is equal to 4 by 3x plus 4. So in this equation, you can see that both the unknown values are in the denominator, and it is a bit difficult. So what I am going to do is I'm going to directly cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply over here. So 3 into 3x plus 4 is equal to 4 into x minus 2. So if you have any confusions in it, so I can show you the equation. So a by b is equal to c by d is same as AD is equal to BC. So you can write, these are which you have learned in your ratios and proportions. So you can write this in any format which you like. So I am going to make like this, so I can find easily my answer. So again, now there are brackets, solve the brackets. So 3 into 3x, 9x, 3 into 4, 12, and 4 into x is 4x, and 4 into minus 2 is minus 8. So as I said, now what you have to do, you have to group together all the variables to one side and the integers to other side. Also remember that when you move your variables and constants from one side of the equation to the other side of the equation, there is a change of sign. That is, if there is a plus sign, then it changes to minus, and if there is a minus sign, then it changes to plus sign. So similarly, I'm going to keep my 9x over here, and I know that 4x I'm moving to this side, so it becomes minus 4x. And similarly, when 12 I move to the other side, it becomes minus 12, minus 8. So 9x minus 4x is 5x, and 5x minus 20. And now I'm not going to do all these steps by dividing by 5. I'm just going to write minus 20 by 5, and my final answer is minus 4. So that's it. And now let's do our problem number F. So till now we have done only problems in linear simple equations with the power raised only to 1. So, but in this problem, there is a root x is equal to 2. So, as I said, to do all these algebraic expressions in linear equations, the power is only raised to 1. But in this case, you can see that the power is raised to 1 by 2. So, when you have in equations involving square roots, then you have to take the square of both the LHS and RHS to avoid this 1 by 2. For example, when you what happens when you take the power 2 into 1 by 2 and it gets cancelled, and now the power of x is only 1. So similarly, so when you do, you have to maintain also the equality of equation. That is, whenever you do a arithmetic operation or any algebraic operation, then when you do on the one side of the equation, similarly you have to do in the other side of the equation too. So I'm directly going to do that. X raised to 1 by 2 the whole raised to 2, which is equal to 2 square. So x, it becomes x, and the value of x is 4. It's easy, right? So that's what the problem number F is all about. And now let's do the problem number G. Here 2 root d is equal to 8. First of all, let's make the variable on one side and the constant on one side. So I'm going to divide by 2. So I get away with this 2 over here. So root d is equal to 4. So root d is 4, and now that is what it is, d raised to 1 by 2 is equal to 4. So to get away with this 1 by 2, because in linear equations they have only order of first degree. So to get the order of first degree, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to multiply a square here both sides. So 4 square, and now it is d, and d is 16. So similarly, so 16 is 4. What? Why? 4 into 4 is 4. So right. So now we got the answer for the problem number G also. And now let's do the similar problem where now the power raised to is of value 2. So x square is equal to 36. So when the value of unknown is raised to 2, what happens is a quadratic equation now. So now we have to make this into a linear equation. To make this quadratic equation into a linear equation, you have to take the square roots. Just the opposite what you did when you have to deal with square roots. So when it was square roots, what you used to do? You used to just take the square of it. And similarly, when you have a square, what you have to do? You have to take the square roots. So to avoid that, I'm going to take the square roots. Okay, so square root is like here root of 36, right? Okay, so I'm going to write the value as, so x square, when you take the square roots, what happens? It becomes x is equal to plus or minus 6. Why I'm writing here plus or minus 6? This also I have discussed in the previous sections, that when you take the value, see, minus 6 the whole square is also 36, and plus 6 is also the 36. So when you take the square root of square root of an equation, they have always two answers, plus or minus 6, because both the equations satisfy. As I said, when you write minus 6 into minus 6 is also minus 6, and also 6 into 6 is also 6. So right, so it's same as minus 6, it is same as root 36. Here also it is root 36. This is why we used to write also plus and minus 6. And now let's do our last problem, that is problem number I. So in this problem you can see that first what we are going to do, we are going to cross multiply. Let's do the cross multiplication here. So 15 into 3 is 45 is equal to 4t square, that is 8t square, right? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to group together so I'm going to divide it by 8. So t square is equal to 45 by 8. Just for my convenience, I'm going to write t square on the other side and this on the other side. So 45 by 8. And now what happens? So t is equal to, so when you take the root, what it happens? Root of 45 by 8, that is somewhat, answer is somewhat, what you get is plus or minus 45 by 8. So please find the answer. I'm not going to finish this answer. Please find the answer of this problem and comment under my video, and I would highly suggest you to do the problem until up to 4 significant figures. So that's a small homework for you for my lecture on simple equations. So that's all for this module, and I'm going to do some practical problems on simple equations. So see you over there. Bye bye.